من شر نفسي ومن شر كل دابة أنت آخذ بناصيتها إن ربي على صراط مستقيم. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث من عذابك أستجير اصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي ولا إلى أحد من خلقك طرفة عين. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم إنا نسألك العافية في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في ديني ودنياي وأهلي وأموالي. اللهم استر عوراتي وأمن روعاتي. اللهم احفظني من بين يدي ومن خلفي وعن يميني وعن شمالي ومن فوقي وأعوذ بعظمتك أن أغتال من تحتي. اللهم أنت خلقتني وأنت تهديني وأنت تطعمني وأنت تسقيني وأنت تميتني وأنت تحييني وأنت على كل شيء قدير. أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وعلى كلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. اللهم بك أصبحنا وبك أمسينا وبك نحيا وبك نموت وعليك نتوكل وإليك النشور. أمسينا وأمسى الملك لله والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك خير هذه الليلة فتحها ونصرها ونورها وبركتها وهداها. اللهم إنا نسألك خير هذه الليلة وخير ما فيها وخير ما قبلها وخير ما بعدها ونعوذ بك من شر هذه الليلة وشر ما فيها وشر ما قبلها وشر ما بعدها. اللهم ما أمسى بنا من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك فلك الحمد ولك الشكر على ذلك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We're now on Sunan of Salah. We're on Salah. We've done all the chapters of Tahara from Tayammum, using the khuf, Sunan, Al-Wudu, Al-Ghusl, all these things. Now, there's some structure you have to have in your mind. Whenever we talk about any matter of fiqh, the first thing is going to be prerequisites. Prerequisites. Okay? What is required in order for this thing to become obligatory? So what is the 4 prerequisites of salah? Okay? The prerequisite before it to become obligatory is that the time has to be in. Right? The time has to be in. That's a prerequisite. And then the prerequisites before you perform the obligation is tahara of the place that you're going to pray in. And literally it means the spots where your hands will touch the ground have to be pure from najasa. And that's called taharatul khabath. Then taharatul hadath, your own tahara, wudu basically. And then the 4th one is istiqbalul qibla. And when we talk about istiqbalul qibla, all you're responsible for is the attempt to find the qibla. You're not even responsible, let's say it's all dark, you have no navigation, no GPS, no phone. Okay? Then you pray in whatever direction. You just estimate. Okay? When we're talking about the qibla, we just have to hit the hemisphere. That's it. We have to face east. When you're a certain distance away from the Kaaba, then the further you are away, the more vast the is your area that you have to face. Okay, so if you're in the Haram, if you're in the Masjid al-Haram, you have to face the Kaaba. If you're in Mecca, you have to face the Masjid itself, the structure of the mosque. Okay, if you're in Arabia, you have to face the city of Mecca. If you're in the region, you just have to face the jiha, which is 90 degrees. And once you are going past, 1/3 distance of the earth away, at that point, you just face the east. For us, east. For other parts, north, like South America. They're going to just face north, any direction northeast. So it gets more generic as you get further away. All right? So that's that. Now we get to the prerequisites, the first thing. The next question you have to ask is fara'id, obligations. Next, sunan, mu'akkada, confirmed sunnahs. The things the Prophet never left off. Next, sunan khafifa. Alright? Light sunnahs. Something maybe you could do. If you do it, it's a slight reward. And then you have number 5, hay'ah. Hay'ah. which is the physical form that you're supposed to stand in or do the act in, and that is even less than sunnah khafifa. That's number 5. And you go next, now you go to the negatives. Makruhat and nawaqid, the things that are highly discouraged for you to do, and the nawaqid are the things that if you do them, you nullify the whole action. So for every matter of ritual law, you have to look at 7 things: prerequisites, obligations, highly recommended sunan, lightly recommended sunan, the physical form in which you do it, discouraged actions, and nullifiers, nawaqid. Okay? So for the obligatory, for the obligations of prayer, we have number 1, the intention. Number 2, takbirat al-ihram. Takbirat al-ihram is just the utterance of Allahu Akbar. The movement of the hands, right, is the sunnah. It's not a obligation. So if you just walk right up to the line and say Allahu Akbar, that suffices you. Okay? Al-qiyam, standing for it without leaning. Leaning is allowed in the non-obligatory prayers. You can lean, you could sit down. Okay? Qira'atul al-Fatiha. Surah al-Fatiha is of course obligatory for someone who's praying alone, right? He's obligated. If you're praying behind the imam, you're not obligated to do any recitation. And when he's reciting, you should listen. Right? You should never recite if the imam is reciting. Sometimes you're praying, the imam's reciting, and the person next to you is also reciting, like he's having a competition with the imam. No, this is wrong. You're supposed to pay attention. Okay? So that's Surah Al-Fatiha. It's obligatory for praying alone. If you're praying behind the imam, right, the imam's recitation counts for you. Al-Qiyamu laha, that you have to be standing for that. Al-Ruku'. Of course, everyone knows Ruku'. Al-Raf'u min al-Ruku'. Alright? Rising from... Now, when we talk about Ruku', it's very important to know that in Ruku', it is not the place for dua. Right? Everything has its place, right? Dua is not, or Quran, recitation of Quran is not to be done in the Ruku'. Only tasbih. Then you rise from it. When you rise from it, the rising from ruku' is the ibadah that's done there is gratitude. It is a place to be express your gratitude. Alhamd. That's why we say Allahumma rabbana laka alhamd. Alhamdulillahi hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi. And then as-sujud. As-sujud as well is not a place of Quran unless it's a Quranic dua. It is a place of dua, right? And tasbih. And no abd is closer to Allah Azza wa Jal at any moment, okay, than when he is sajid and prostrating. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's nothing more important. This is the first thing a Muslim has to learn. And I think we skip this lesson. Nothing is more important than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to just think about that, because I think we assume it. I think we never even think about it anymore. Like, so many years pass and no one's been talking about the great importance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It just not so happens to be that we believe in one God, right? And because out there in the world, in the media, they constantly want to link race and religion, right? No matter what race or religion you are. This phrase is one of the most deadly phrases for Muslims, because they're adopting it. They're starting to realize, well, religion is just like race. No, it's not. Race you're born with, you have no choice, and you shouldn't be judged by it. Religion is what you believe about reality and morality. It's the most important decision you're going to make. And deen for us is not which religion of the religions of the earth. Any decision about reality, what is true, and how life should be lived, we call that a deen. So the communists, that's their deen. They don't have to pray and have a temple. The atheists, that's their deen. Doesn't require prayer and temple. They get together and not pray. Right? So deen, this question is the most important question. But yet, what they try to do to undermine it in your heart is they always say, no matter what race or religion you are, as if it's like a no big deal. In fact, it's the biggest deal, right? And those same people who do this, now you'll notice, the people who tell you no matter what race or religion you are, or how you love, or who you love, right? But you'll notice they'll never say, they'll say whether you're a Muslim or a Jew or an atheist, right? You heard this stuff. They'll never say whether or not you're a Trump supporter or an Obama supporter, whether or not you're an evangelical Christian or an atheist, whether or not you're a Republican or a Democrat. They'll never legitimize their actual real opponent by putting him in the list, right or wrong, right? They'll never say, we all love one another, whether you're a Trump supporter or an Obama supporter, right? It'll never happen. Because when they believe in something, right, they make sure to ostracize and isolate their enemies. So don't be mindful next time you hear, no matter what race or religion the person is, right? As if it's not important. Well, it's very important when it comes to political parties. They don't say no matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. I've never heard that before, right? No matter whether you're a fascist or what's the other group? The opposite extreme? Of whether you're a fascist or a communist or a libertarian. Well, wait a second. Fascists never get in the conversation, right? Evangelicals are never in the conversation. So be very mindful of this, because they undermine your importance, the importance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Little subtle comments, and make you realize that, like, a feeling that you're doing something that's not important, when in fact it's the most important thing, and the salah is the most important expression. So much so the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever believes properly, believe in Allah on the last day, and his prayer is good, you can guarantee everything else will be good. After that, if your prayer is sound, your tahara and salah is sound, you can only harm yourself. Jannah is yours to lose. You've gained it, khalas. But the Prophet only said there's only one thing you could possibly do to ruin it, if your salah is good. And that is that you backbite people, your interactions with people is bad. The Prophet ﷺ said, who is the bankrupt? They said, someone with no money. He said, no. It's the person who goes on Yawm al-Qiyamah, perfect salah, absolutely perfect. He never missed salah. He never missed sunan. He prayed in Taraweeh in Ramadan, that made up for all his lack of focus everywhere else. But yet, as he's about to claim his paradise, a person comes and says, oh, this person backbited me, so give him some good deeds. He's got to give him some of his good deeds. A next person comes, a third person comes, a fourth person comes. He cursed me out. He was mean to me. He hurt my feelings. And in Islam, a bad deed is enough that you hurt someone's feelings. Right? Harm is a very low threshold in Islam. Harm. Right? Harm doesn't mean that it's in the court of law as harm. Because if you go to the court of law, they'll tell you, well, are there damages? Did you lose money? Did you lose property? Don't imagine that in the sight of Allah that is what harm is. No, that's in the courts. So if two people come to me and said, I have a case against this person, and I say, well, all right, what did he do? He said, well, he was mean to me and he hurt my feelings. Case dismissed. There's no case. Are there damages? Did he steal your property? Is there financial compensation needed? No. That's in this world. But in the sight of Allah, it is enough that you testify that your feelings were hurt. That's enough. What is a divorce? How can a woman get divorced in Islam? A type of divorce where she doesn't have to give back the dowry. What is the bare minimum of harm? Is it that her husband has to beat her? What is it?
If he's not praying, or if he's addicted to drugs.
Good, that's for himself. But what about the harm? What is the threshold? All right. If a woman comes and says, Judge, this husband of mine is abusing me, what is the judge going to say? The judge is going to say, okay, tell me what he did. What is the least that she could say in which the judge will take his gavel and says, divorced, without giving the dowry back? That he's saying that she didn't provide for him.
No, he's her rights.
Not fulfilling her rights. What else? The answer is, if he ignored her for a day, this is abuse in the Sharia. She gets the right to a divorce without giving back her dowry. Right? I'm telling you, fiqh, the law. Forget the fluffy stuff. We love the fluffy stuff, right? About marriage. Like the clouds and little fat angels and love. We love that stuff, right? But I'm telling you, if you understood the law of marriage, the men would be like, stop teaching this. You're going to get us in trouble. The men. Because the law is in complete favor, right, of the wife. It's all against the men, the law. Right? Why? Because of what is the man getting? He's getting something so valuable. Her whole body, her whole self, her companionship. Right? That's what you're getting. So what you get in exchange, right? The law is so tilted against him. Not against him, but all the responsibilities are on literally his side. Right? She's got one duty, be his companion. That's it. So if she never picked up a fork, she eats and doesn't pick up her dishes, right? Doesn't take care of her kids. Of course, no woman is really going to do this, right? But I'm just telling you, technically speaking, the judge will say, get out of my courtroom. There's nothing there. She didn't do nothing wrong. In the sight of Allah, she did nothing wrong. As long as she didn't disobey Allah, right? And she is not ignoring Him. So, just to understand the fiqh of marriage, if you really understood the law, you would actually prefer to study the law as much as you do all the fluffy stuff, right? Because I'm telling you, this stuff is objective. Alright, so let's get back to how did we even get to that subject? Okay. Now, as-sujud, al-raf'u minhu. Okay, rising from the sujood. Al-julus, to sit down. As-salam, the moment you say Assalamu alaikum with the intention of exiting the prayer, you're out of the prayer. Turning the head is a sunnah. Okay? And everything beyond the phrase Assalamu alaikum is also a sunnah. So if you say Assalamu alaikum and then you lose your wudu, that's it, you're good. Your prayer counts. Because as soon as you pronounce the meme, the second meme, Assalamu alaikum, as soon as you pronounce that, your prayer is over. Now, in the prayer, at every moment your spine has to be still. This is called tuma'nina. And i'tidal, at every movement that you stand up, you have to be standing upright. So that when you do ruku'ah, you can't try to... Some people are lazy. They come up from ruku'ah. They don't even want to give Allah a full stand up. They just come up maybe, instead of coming up 90 degrees, he'll come up 75 degrees. So that the floor is suddenly closer. He doesn't want to give Allah the 15% more, 15 degrees more. He'll come up 75 degrees and go straight back down. This is a bad habit that some people have, and their prayer wouldn't be valid because it's a fard. I'tidal is a fard. Tartibul ada, you have to do it in order. And then niyatul iqtida, the intention of following, is also a faridah. Now, that we already did. Now we go to sunan as-salah. What are the sunan of prayer? Any questions so far on just the obligations that we looked at? Yep. No.
I know last session you have mentioned about the purpose of prayer that the person who's following either imam.
Say again. Say again. Yes, the muqtadi, the ma'mum or the muqtadi has to have the same intention as the imam in the Hanafi and Maliki opinions. Yeah. In the scholars differed upon that. The question was, if I have to pray dhuhr and that group is praying asr in the masjid, can I just join them with the intention of dhuhr while they're praying asr? The answer to that is, the scholars differed upon that matter, with the first two imams, Abu Hanifa and Malik, holding that the intention has to be the same. That you would have to pray dhuhr on the side, then join. because the imam is meant to be followed, and the intention is the most important thing. So you have to follow him in intention as well. However, Ash-Shafi'i and Ahmed, they differed and they disagreed, and they said no, the followership is only in the physical movements, and so therefore they permitted that. They permitted that the intentions don't matter. It could be sunnah, it could be otherwise, right? You could pray any two prayers behind the imam. Yep.
So the atheism is also a belief system like we were discussing. So we can say that is their...
That's their religion. Yeah, that's their religion.
So they believe in not believing in God.
Yeah, that's their deen. The number one sunnah mu'akkada is the adhan and the iqamah. Okay? And that is a sunnah that is done before salah. So much so is the reward of the mu'adhin that they will come on the day of judgment, the Prophet ﷺ said, with the longest necks. Now what is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of the longest necks? If you see a human being with a really long neck, that's not something that you like to see. That's like something's wrong with him, right? So what the meaning of that is, according to Imam al-Nawawi, is that on the day when it's going to be all crowded and no one knows what's going on, they will have a vantage point and they will be able to see everything. Therefore, gaining security in their heart, right? Gaining security, because that's the interpretation that Imam Nawawi gives of long necks. Okay?
In fact, long necks to an extent is considered beautiful.
Yeah, to a degree. To a degree. Now the adhan, you have a question? What is it? Huh? Alright, good question. What's going on with that group over there? Could you bring everyone up, because we're not having two programs here at this time. I don't know what's going on back there. I have very sensitive hearing. If there's stuff going on, I can't focus. So the question, now let's get to the adhan and the iqamah. The adhan and the iqamah should only be given by an adult, a baligh, aqil, Muslim baligh, aqil. Why? So that people know that the adhan is actually being given on purpose. And they don't realize, well, a child just picked up the mic and it's calling the adhan, right? So they have to know it's being given on purpose, the adhan. Secondly, is the purpose of the adhan to gather the people or just to initiate the prayer time? The ulama differed on that. So the adhan is meant, one of the answers to that is that it's meant to gather the people, so therefore it can be given at any time. Alright? In homes or in public places, it can be given at any time. It's basically an announcement that we're going to pray. In Muslim homes, you have this annoying thing happens in Muslim homes. Is that one person in the family who goes running around trying to get everyone to pray. Right? Time for salah, time for salah. Right? The salah should not be preceded with a nuisance like this. This is a lofty thing. You should have someone in the house call the adhan. And the rule is, it's the adhan, and it's 5-7 minutes after the adhan, we're going to pray. You don't want to pray, right? You're going to come late, no one's going to chase after you. So my recommendation to people, don't do this thing of chasing around people to come and pray. Call the adhan, they're adults, right? Come to pray. You want to be a Muslim? Come to pray, right? And your rent in this house is to practice Islam. That's your rent. You're not going to have anyone skipping prayers in the house, right? So you call the adhan and you pray. And don't do this thing of salah, let's go, leave that what you're doing. And you're bothering people like this, and the salah is now associated. What'd you just say? Huh? That kid's like, I don't want to say what he just said. You're bothering people and associating something annoying with the prayer. It should not be like that at all, right? Shouldn't be like that at all. It should be, there's an adhan. Let's say there's no man in the house to call the adhan. Well, get one of the boys to call the adhan, right? Or play the adhan on a phone or a computer. The rule is this: you all hear the adhan. We're praying, right? That's it. You come to pray. You have a question? Yeah.
At what age would a boy be like okay to start calling the adhan for like without the misinterpretation of oh this is just grab the mic?
The question is, at what age can a kid call the adhan? A kid could call the adhan. Firstly, he should be mature, baligh, reach puberty. However, it's harmless if he calls the adhan before that, provided he understands that this is not like a thing to be done all the time, so that we actually know when we're really calling the adhan and when you're not. So as soon as they reach the age that they understand that this adhan is meant to call the prayer, and we pray 5 or 10 minutes after the adhan, that's sufficient. So he could be 8, 9, 10, but although that the actual adhan in the masajid must be done by someone who's reached puberty. Okay? Yeah.
Some prayers are offered very quiet, like Zuhr and last two of Isha.
Okay, we'll get to those after we finish with the adhan. Yeah. Can what? The person who gives the adhan, I believe it's only in the Hanafi school that the person who gives the adhan and the iqamah should be different from the imam. That's the general position on things. But if the person calls the adhan and iqamah and leads the prayer, there's no harm in that. Now the adhan is of different types. There's different types of adhans. And there is the adhan of Bilal ibn Rabah, and there is the adhan of Mecca. The adhan that is taught to the Muslims by the angel, and the adhan that the Prophet taught was slightly different. Okay? So just for your education, how did the adhan come about? The Muslims were trying to figure out, how do we call the people to prayer? And they used to do what we were saying earlier and send someone out to say, let's come and pray, everyone come and pray. And that's, like we said, bothersome, right? So someone said, let's hit sticks together. Another person said, let's use a horn, right? And finally, Abdullah ibn Zayd al-Ansari, a man by the name of Abdullah ibn Zayd al-Ansari, he saw a dream in which an angel said to him the adhan, that someone should stand up and call the adhan. Umar ibn al-Khattab saw the same dream. So the Prophet ﷺ then therefore established the adhan to be as is. Okay? And that adhan is, as you know, Allahu Akbar 4 times, and then everything else 2 times, and then La ilaha illallah at the end. Later on in Mecca, the Prophet ﷺ taught the adhan to Abu Mahdura, and he taught it with 2 Allahu Akbars, then the Shahada 2 times each, then repeat the Shahada in a louder voice, and then finish the adhan the rest of the way that we know. So just for your information, that's why sometimes you might hear the adhan to be a little bit different, to be 2 Allahu Akbars, and then the Shahadatain are repeated. So he says, Shadu an la ilaha illallah, Shadu an la ilaha illallah, Shadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, Shadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, then repeats it louder after that, and then continues the rest of the adhan. Likewise, the iqamah is different as well. There are 2 versions of the iqamah. The iqamah that Bilal used to give is the iqamah that is basically half of the adhan. And the other adhan, the iqamah that the Prophet taught to Abu Mahdura, was exactly like the adhan. Allahu Akbar, 4 times, Shahadatain 2 times each. And this is what the Ahnaf, the Hanafis, say today. That's the iqamah that they give today. So it's really either any of these adhans or iqamas are all sound and valid. It's just for your information to know. Now, the iqamah should not be given unless the imam walks into the mosque. And nobody should stand up until the iqamah is given. Okay? People should remain seated and wait until the imam comes in. Once the imam comes in, then the iqamah can be called, then people could get up. Alright? When the iqamah is called. Whether the iqamah they stand up at qad aqamat as-salah, or at the beginning of the iqamah, or at the end of the iqamah, There's all different opinions on that, but the point is, you don't stand up, right? And some people, they have they just have to realize that the imam is the sultan in his place. The prayer leader, he's the sultan. He's in charge. The prayer occurs when he comes in, okay? And if he's late, if he's making wudu, you wait for him. This is one of the ways of respect, okay? So nobody should stand up until the imam comes in and the iqamah is called. Question? The adhan and the iqamah should be upon wudu. Yeah. Yes.
Can someone be fairly certain that they're the only Muslim in the vicinity, or should they say the adhan or iqamah?
Good question. If you're praying by yourself, can you say the adhan and the iqamah?